All right, good morning. So, starting with a little gap up this morning. Like 30 points, actually. Daily chart doesn't look too bad. It is trying to recover. I am a little sketched out by some smaller time frames. We go in and look at the hourly chart. This was our level that pushed the spike down. We did get a little bit of reversal, and now we've kind of came up out of it a little bit. But we are ultimately still kind of downtrending. We do have a local recovery though. It's tried a few times down here, so we might successfully do it. If we can get back up above like the 4670 levels, then we'll be looking really good. But not too sure. It's kind of right in the middle, but we did find some buyers down here. We tested a little lower and we are finding them again. Finding them from, you know, a level that makes sense. This level of accumulation that we had marked out for a long time now. It all makes sense. But we'll see if today we actually get some continuation up to the upside, or if we fail again, like near the moving average, or even maybe locally even more so, and then go down. But it's kind of my approach this morning, is to see if we try to do a gap fill, or if we do some form of, like, you know, gap and go. A gap and go style with some momentum to the upside would be really good for the daily chart. But not sure. So we're gonna trade what we see, only take the best setups, and be patient. Okay. Becomes yellow for me. It's important. Checking below some of these swing points makes good sense. Overnight stuff. See if we can hold up here though. Or if we need to actually retrace some of this move. We do have a 30-point gap up, so. If we were going to maintain this range area, you wouldn't want to see it go much further. You'd want to see it definitely not retrace this spike move. Morning one time. How was your day yesterday? Already gone a little farther than I would like to see, so we may be pushing for that gap fill. Tops of some of this range area here. Yeah, thanks, man. On my review, I was like, should have held it a little bit longer. But the premise behind why I took the trade was for extension, but I didn't hold it for extension. Feels good though. The last couple of days I'm more patient. I'm being more consistent with not wanting to trade randomness, only really the exact setups I'm looking for. So that has been working in my favor. I just need to get a little bit more consistent now with taking all of those opportunities. A little bit of hesitation here. Not really an area I'm interested in yet, though. We got an inside bar. Do we extend? We did extend. Okay, no reversal setup. Certainly did the same pattern I like to see, just not off a couple ticks. It did it off almost like a point or so, eh? 9 and 50. Yeah, more than a point. Not really 100% for the setup I want to see, so no trade yet. Doesn't look like the candle's going to close like it was teasing anyway. Nope. Nice, getting good momentum to the downside right now. So yeah, our 1 hour now, we have kind of reversed off that third push. 1, 2, 3. Failure. Turns red. So I'll leave this one here for now. Still struggling at that, near that same level. We have Powell speaking again today at 11. Again. I assume it's going to be a continuation of yesterday's talks. Probably say a lot of the same things that we heard yesterday. A little bit of hesitation here, a little slowdown. Yeah, I just get a lot more passive with trading while he speaks. Usually, anytime he's like around, seen some big swings that all of a sudden happen when he starts saying about certain things. So I don't know if it'll happen that way today. I just try to be cautious. Yeah, I was listening to it on the other monitor, and yeah, one time was enough for sure. It was basically just everybody was just kind of grilling Powell, asking him same questions different ways. Do you really think that inflation is only at 2.5? Because it's not at 2.5, and we all know that. And we're kind of, you know, you did it. You bought bonds for too long. You should stop buying bonds a long time ago. And they just ask that over and over in different ways. And he kind of says the same thing back. I liked how the camera guy in the beginning, though, while I was watching, he was like moving the camera around frantically, aiming at all of the people that had like facial expressions. He wasn't even looking at the person who was speaking. He's like, oh, this guy's got a funny look on his face, I'm aiming at this guy for a bit. And then he'd switch to the next guy. It was pretty funny. Let's see what's going on here. We are getting a little bit of a pause, a slow down. First leg recovery, second leg attempt here. Do we gain anything? Not really a pattern here that I want to trade, unless it was to the short side. But not looking great for what I want to get into, so I'm just going to be patient still. Might try to recover a little bit. First attempt to short failed. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Some rejection from that same level. Test this low volume area here and see what happens. Last two candles closed pretty good. I like that we finally checked above this little area here. Only just, barely. Yeah, they're just the messenger. They're the face. Ended up closing as a doji, not really telling me much. We were finding some stall up here at a good spot. The approach, though, from down here was bullish enough that I'm not 100% which way I want to lean. kind of thinking that because that now tested and held, not really anything else. Tested above here, we pulled back, held this floor kind of, got bought back up to make a high. Maybe this thing now takes back the rest of that quick move down. For me, there's nothing else there, so tested the liquidity point. I mean, there's nothing for me to short here. I much like, my brain is much more like thinking that this is long and we're just going retracing this move right back up. Yeah, no reason to short through here now after this one held. Really a trade above that, confirming that really just one direction it can go, unless it's a mind fuckaroo. Now we came back to the moving average on the 5 minute. May get some profit taking here now. Also could risk off high a day potentially, but this looks like a V to me. Yeah, I was like looking for short heavily too down here for another leg down, but the long recovery here kind of definitely didn't give me any reason to get short off of. Now I'm kind of looking at it as like a V, and I don't know if I want to go short off high day if it gave me a right pattern up here. I don't think that I do for now. I generally won't go against a V. Well, definitely gave scalpers profit off of the moving average touch. Damn, eh? My theory was incorrect. There's a lot more of sell pressure from that level than I expected. 45 seconds left on this 5-minute candle. See what happens here. How they close it. One tick poke underneath this doji candle after it checked below. Tried one more time. Couldn't get any further. If they want to close it bullish, they'd have to buy this up pretty much like right now. Doesn't look like they're going to close it bullish. Not at all. In fact, the opposite to... Yep, not what I was expecting. For sure. Definitely not. It's not a bad 2-bar. I don't like that it's technically a high 1 though after a one-time push down, so no signal for me. It also has more of a wick than I want to see. So 2 negative things, no trade. The 2-legged seems to not happen very often in the first half an hour. I'm noticing more and more. That first half an hour, when the momentum shifts, it just kind of goes. It seems like there's not a whole lot of multiple attempts. It either switches and then it goes, or it doesn't and it continues, which is fine. Just noticing that a little bit more lately. Orders are quick enough in that first half an hour that doesn't stall around long enough and give that accumulation 2-leg pattern. This is the 2 leg. This is the second attempt. First attempt only went one tick below. It's a pretty damn nice signal bar, but no fire yet. I would have limit ordered short right here if this would have went below that signal bar first and triggered the trade, but it didn't, which might be my saving grace. Really like the looks of that signal bar after the first attempt to short failed by 1 tick, but then we didn't get a trigger before that. Lots of overlap here. Tight trading range. Nope, and it didn't even trigger within 2 candles, so. 2 minutes now from news. All right, 5-minute chart now has successfully done a 2-legged pullback. Not interested in these little levels. This yellow one is my major one I'm interested in. We break high a day? We sure did. See if this closes an inside candle, because we have potentially the exhaustion push if this closes as an inside candle. Oh, it did try to go higher. Broke through that yellow line, no problem. All right, well, tells me a different story for sure. S23. Oh, you shorted 23. 23 was high a day test. Yeah, I got you. Yep. Good short attempt for sure. Could have got a nice retrace back down, but you cut it though. Good cut for sure. Yeah, if you didn't cut it, you'd be down even more now. So great cut of that trade. We broke up against this trap level that I had marked, which for me is mighty bullish. Just for visual sakes, I'll have that here for now. It didn't even hesitate at it. So that tells me also that it just kind of squeezed right through. So my 1 hour chart now actually created a trap and squeezed out. So it is important. We have that trend line, first trend line break, test of extreme. Does that extreme hold now? This turns into my yellow line. It's a really nice 2-bar. It's like a really good 2-bar actually. $20.75, it's a nice entry. Real nice entry. You got your retest of it too, and it went the other way. There's your 4 points back. So we got a nice 2-bar with a nice follow through candle. target 24. Yeah. Manufacturing PMI is basically exactly what they predicted, 61.1. Yeah, Powell and Yellen speaking now. Okie dokie. It did kind of look like it was trying to hold. That's a hard one. It's hard for me too if I'm like up almost 4 points and then like it comes back basically to break even. It's like, man, I don't know if I want to let it come against me at all. Like, that's for sure. I mean, I don't want to let it come against me. Difficult for sure. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks like you made the right call, really. It looks like it's trying to make a new high, or at least check above. We get a little bit of congestion up here, though. Double top so far. There was some bearish signals in here, though. Do we fail the next push up? Close bullish on the break. We did get some continue. All right. Definitely a much stronger bullish move than I was expecting off the price action at the open and like going into it, that's for sure. Nice, you moved your stop up. Don't let the breakout come against you at all. That's really smart. Yep. Play the breakout trade, but you don't hold through the pullbacks. Great management. Daily chart's gonna start looking better and better now. You pulled a couple points out of it though. Nice. It's good good management on a breakout though. You don't I struggle to trade breakouts like that because I'll you know, I don't want to let them come against you if the breakout starts to fail at all, that's for sure. Trail it and take as much as you can before the snap. Come back, test that breakout location. Yeah, absolutely. That was great management of a breakout trade, in my opinion. Another extension. Oops. Look for some levels this way. I wasn't really prepared. I have the high from yesterday or from 2 days ago marked up there. They're almost the same. This swing point here, I guess, is relatively important. Throw this on there so I'm aware of where it is. We're kind of in that zone right now for sure. The daily candle though, man, looking more and more bullish. Quick check below at the open and then open reversal, and it's been pretty aggressive to the upside now. Federal Reserve. See what's going on in this meeting real quick.
They had job openings unfilled. They were not able to even get qualified applicants to. 58% indicated they had few or no qualified applicants, in fact. Look at consumer prices. From a year ago through October, the headline CPI rose to 6.2%, the largest annual increase in 30 years. Consumer sentiment for November dropped to its lowest level in a decade. In fact, American families just experienced the most expensive Thanksgiving on record. Now, Democrats want to blame increased prices on American businesses or some other force. It's their policies.
Yeah, wasn't the price of a turkey up like 15% or something this year?
It's coming from inside the Senate. It's coming from inside the
14, 15%.
They're driving up costs for the American people. In fact, in October, the San Francisco Fed released a report showing that Democrat policies are harming our recovery. So what do House Democrats do? Well, they spend more money. That was the big vote in just before Thanksgiving. More money. That's pouring jet fuel onto an inflationary trajectory we have in the economy. Well, speaking of fuel, though, just look at gas prices. This is the bad policies from this administration. When you shut off American energy sources, it drives up the cost of petrochemicals in our economy. And outsourcing that to OPEC actually makes us more dependent on other foreign sources. So, as important as it is for us to hear from both of you today, in fact, this is the final remnant of the CARES Act, the fact that you two are mandated to come and appear before us on a quarterly basis about programs that have now been rescinded. But this is the final remnant of the CARES Act, which was, by the way, a bipartisan bill passed through the House and the Senate and signed by the President last year. But we look forward to hearing from you today about this broad economic question that we're all very concerned about. And as we discuss these policies and what we're doing to address them, I hope that we can talk about solutions.
Strong move. Like every one of these, it's just higher lows. It attempts once, holds it, goes. Attempts once to fail, doesn't, holds it, goes. Higher lows, higher lows.
Mr. Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're now recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the Fed is a lender of last resort, and I compliment the Fed for what it's done under its 13-3 authority to create 9 emergency facilities, 7 of which were supported by funds from the Treasury. But I'd also like to make a note. Today, currently, unemployment for African American workers is 7.9% and 5.9% for Latino workers, higher than the national average of 4.6% and 4% for whites. Hence, today we must ask, in view of how unemployment rates still vary dramatically across races, what more can the Federal Reserve do as a lender of last resort to advance its mandate to foster economic conditions that achieve both maximum employment and stable prices, not just for some, but for all? What can regulators do, not only to continue to bolster the economic recovery, but also the pandemic we have to deal with?
A little bit of a pullback here.
The insecurity as it relates to the wealth gap. I look forward to hearing the witnesses respond to this and other questions.
I now recognize the gentleman from Minnesota, Mr. Emmer, for 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My constituents just experienced the most expensive Thanksgiving dinner in history. A 16-pound turkey is up 23%. Costco pumpkin pie is up 17%. A 2-pound bag of carrots is
Not Costco pumpkin pie.
Let's also not forget the outrageous prices at the pump, making it too expensive for many Americans to drive home and celebrate Thanksgiving with their families in the first place. This inflation is not transitory, as our witnesses finally acknowledged yesterday. And it's not a high-class problem, despite what the Biden administration will tell you. That is a lie propagated by those who have never had to do mental math at the grocery store to make sure the amount in their cart does not exceed the cash in their wallet. For Democrat leaders, paying 42% more at the pump probably isn't a problem when you're riding a government-funded high-speed rail in Silicon Valley. More than 90% of my constituents reported that rising prices were impacting their household budgets. Inflation is destroying Americans' ability to save for retirement, buy a home, or build wealth. This isn't a tax on the rich. It's an enormous burden on working Americans. We must stop this reckless spending before it financially cripples our nation. I yield back the balance of my time.
I want to welcome our distinguished witnesses today who need little introduction to members of the committee. First, I want to welcome the Honorable Janet Yellen, Secretary of the United States Department of the Treasury.
And volume goes down.
Who has served in that role since her confirmation in January of this year. Our other distinguished witness today is the Honorable Jerome Powell, the Chair of the Board
Looks
of the Federal
teased just below that 1 minute support, which I expect generally if I kind of pull back to the perfect spot, really.
Without objection, your written statements will be made part of the record. You
No
will have
2
5
legs
minutes
yet, though.
to summarize your testimony. You should be able to see a timer that will indicate how much time you have left in your testimony. Secretary Yellen, you are now recognized for 5 minutes to present your testimony.
Not a bad limit order long location, but
Chairwoman Waters, Ranking Member McHenry, members of the committee, it's a pleasure to testify today. November has been a very significant month for our economy, and Congress is a large part of the reason why. Our economy has needed updated roads, ports, and broadband networks for many years now, and I'm very grateful that on the night of November 5th, members of both parties came together to pass the largest infrastructure package in American history. November 5th, it turned out, was a particularly consequential day because early
right back up testing the highs.
received a very favorable jobs report. 531,000 jobs added. It's never wise to make too much of one piece of economic data, but in this case, it was in addition to a mounting body of evidence that points to a clear conclusion. Our economic recovery is on track. We're averaging 500,000 new jobs per month since January. GDP now exceeds its pre-pandemic levels. Our unemployment rate is at its lowest level since the start of the pandemic, and our economy is on pace to reach full employment 2 years faster than the Congressional Budget Office had estimated. Of course, the progress of our economic recovery can't be separated from our progress against the pandemic. And I know that we're all following the news about the Omicron variant. As the president said, we're still waiting for more data. What remains true is that our best protection against the virus is the vaccine. People should get vaccinated and boosted. At this point, I'm confident that our recovery
First
is
attempt.
strong and is even quite remarkable when put in context. We should not forget that last winter, there was a risk that our economy was going to slip into prolonged recession. And there is an alternate reality where right now, millions more people cannot find a job or are losing the roofs over their heads. It's clear that what has separated us from that counterfactual are the bold relief measures Congress has enacted during the crisis: the CARES Act, the Consolidated Appropriations Act, and the American Rescue Plan. And it's not just the passage of these laws that's made the difference, but their effective implementation. Treasury, as you know, was tasked with administering a large portion of the relief funds provided by Congress under those bills. During our last quarterly hearing, I spoke extensively about the state and local relief program, but I wanted to update you on some other measures. First, the American Rescue Plan's expanded child tax credit has been sent out every month since July, putting about $77 billion in the pockets of families of more than 61 million children. Families are using these funds for essential needs like food. And in fact, according to the Census Bureau, food insecurity among families with children dropped 24% after the July payments, which is a profound economic and moral victory for the country. Meanwhile, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program has significantly expanded, providing much-needed assistance to over 2 million households. This assistance has helped keep eviction rates below pre-pandemic levels. This month, we also relieved...
All right, I'm back. Sorry. Had to put some wood in the fire, refill my coffee.
Which will provide targeted lending and investments that will help small businesses.
I don't think I want to listen to this anymore. I listened to this like yesterday.
Jobs. As consequential as November was, December promises to be also. There are two decisions.
Well, we're attempting our second leg down. See if we get minimal follow through or extension. Well, that's a little bit. So next location then, I guess, to check for us is going to be the moving average, which will line up nicely with this swing point. Oh my. Reacted quite aggressively down here. Zero wick to the underside. Such a big candle though. Part of me wants to limit order in, but it's not really how the trade system works. I'm gonna fight the urge, even if it does work. Was a nice reaction. Didn't close as bullish as I'd want to see for sure, but there's no bottom wick or anything. Gonna be patient though. Don't want to take something that's not exactly what I'm looking for. Could feel the FOMO urge though. I wanted to hit the limit order there, but it was near its low so bad. When it created the big buy up candle and then pulled back. Ooh. Has triggered now. Well, that's all right. Even though it was a nice trade, it didn't really give me what exactly it is I'm trying to do, so I'm okay with it. I missed it. It's the way of the road. The way of the road. Minute 50 left on this 5-minute candle. If it were to close similar to what it is now, I mean, it looks pretty good, especially after it dipped and then we went again and then immediately closed like that. If it closes like that. Pulling back though with really didn't even achieve that high point. It also didn't have the perfect buy signal, so do I want to limit order back in here? It's giving me an opportunity to. Not really. It's a cheap entry, but the entry system wasn't what I was looking for. 5-minute candle didn't close how I'd wanted to. Didn't achieve the swing high. I'm like rationalizing, telling myself to not do this. Now, if we try again and give a proper buy signal here, I would absolutely be interested. Especially because right now we have a 1-tick poke. Do we hold the 1-tick poke and give me a true buy signal? Ooh. Did buy up. No trigger yet. right? See if we can regain now. We got our 1 tick poke. We got our trigger. I like how it tested below that. Now we want to regain this moving average like pretty much right away. Want it to act as a squeeze. Rejecting the moving average so far. See if we can hold on here. Not the follow through we wanted off of that moving average. See how this candle closes. It's retesting the low. It's looking like it's probably gonna stop me out. We got another 1 tick poke. Not a great candle close. At 1 tick poke. We'll see if we get a 2 bar here. Feels like it's probably going to stop me out. There it is. So I will say, there is one part of that that I did do incorrectly. And when it gave me 1 tick poke lower than my original entry and then bought up a little bit, I should have used that to ditch my trade, because the premise of why I took the trade didn't happen. And I was able to, there was one point where I was able to cut the trade at like 2 ticks. And I had my mouse on the order ready to move it, but I didn't under the, I was like, oh, maybe my 1 extra tick of room is gonna save me. But I like the trade entry and everything, but I don't like that one management part. I did get an opportunity to cut my loss significantly smaller. Stop it was in a good spot though, because it reacted very negatively off that point. So we did not get any continuation. That was a bigger pullback. That was basically like 3/4 of the move up. Definitely not what looking for continuation. Wow, all the way back up, eh? This market is continually telling me that I'm reading it wrong, that's for sure. After that slide down, I was not expecting that again. Might have been some volatility there because of what was said in the talking. Wow. Wow. Well, price did not like that level down there. Rejected out of there very quickly. Wow. We're back into this top range. Trying to regain this moving average and hold it. It looks like the start of a squeeze, V, potentially. Yep. Well, all the way back up for a high day test. Definitely have not read this super correctly, have not been on the right side today at the right times. It's done a lot of moves today that I was not expecting. Didn't break high day. It created that breakout pattern off that squeeze and kind of rejected itself. Yeah, there it goes. New high. Retesting that high. Trying to hold so far. So I mean, really, check the bottom side of our daily range and we pushed straight back up. Market may want to try to come above 44.50 or whatever that swing is. 44.25, I think it is. Definitely looks like where it's trying to get to. Bigger exhaustion push, inside candle. Do we continue off this candle or do we fail and give a reversal signal? Nope, no reversal signal. The big 2-bar. There's the trigger. Another extension. One tick so far. Still going. It was a better long than a short. The market, you know, showed us that we were getting very bullish through here. So even though it was a nice 2-bar signal, the trigger candle did not close how I'd want to be able to limit order a sell pullback. So, and looking at the 5-minute chart, it just did not look good for a short at all. So no real interest in shorting yet. It's too bullish. Kind of in a spike, then channel phase. I would play a mean reversion trade if I got the right like price action, but it would have to be you know, perfect. Otherwise, you know, longing a pullback has been the better play on this push. It's done it a few times now though. None of them really worked out the way that I wanted to use to get long. Fortunately, like during that push up, my brain was like, okay, I'm always in long, but didn't really get what I'd want to see to get in. Which generally is the case in those quick pushes like that. I almost never get anything of it because I don't really have I mean, the pullback system that I use to get in is probably not going to happen in a quick squeeze push like that. But that's okay. We're chilling. We're waiting for the next perfect opportunity, hopefully. We did get a little bit of bullet or bearish pressure up here. Some profit taking, maybe some short selling. I'd be okay for a mean reversion trade, but like I said, have to set up perfect. Double top to the tick. Little tight trading range up here now. End up closing an inside candle on the 5 minute. We did. That peak, an inside candle at the high there definitely piques my interest. If it were to fail the breakout, I would be very much interested in a mean reversion trade, but that would be about it right now for me. Longs have been very dominant, so I wouldn't be taking it for a huge push. Just a little bit of a pullback back down, if it even set up that way, but the market might just keep going up. It looks like it wants to regain, test above that 46-44 level. Back to this little flat top area again. The more and more we gain up, the more and more that daily candle looks delicious, you know? for a bigger reversal pattern holding those lows. Really getting stuck up here. We're chilling. Same flat top still, 39.50. Thirty seconds left on this 5-minute candle. They gonna close it inside? Did inside candle. So market's definitely in breakout mode here. Either direction. Oh, got a little pop to the top. Yep. So that is not the rejection style. So looks like breakout to the upside. Which makes sense with our momentum that we had through that squeeze. Right to our 44 level. It's a great breakout candle. Wow. There it is. We regained our 44 level. That's big. Pretty big. So we entered major liquidity there. That's for sure. See how the market reacts from that level. Yep, 1 hour chart creates that trap. Squeezes up aggressively. Boom. Successfully took back that level now. So we'll see if we have enough momentum to just keep going past the liquidity level, or if we get enough profit taking here that maybe it sets up the mean reversion trade that I've been stalking forever and just never really gotten. Should have probably let that go by now. Didn't really get the opportunities that I'd want to go long though either, to be real honest. The only one I had was here, and I did take it, so I'm happy with how I managed it, other than the way that I exited it, but still kept my loss small. Could have been smaller though if I managed it the way that the market allowed me to get out at a cheaper price after it proved that I was wrong, but that's okay. Stop bet was in a great location, or I would have got really creamed, so you know, I did a few things right for sure. Didn't get any good mean reversion trades that I wanted through here. Knew the market was quite aggressive to the long side. Was ready on that II pattern, inside, but I was ready for it to be the other way. I prefer to play the inside on fake outs. You get the breakout which reverses, and then you play it the other way. This time it actually did break out. Didn't sell off from that liquidity at all yet. Very small hesitation and then continue. Getting a 2-bar at a liquidity level. First start to weakness, potentially. Well, market just keeps chugging. Oh, you long this breakout again. I got you. Yep. I mean, it teased the short and then squeezed it. So not a bad entry location for sure. Nice, you should have got your fill there. I've never successfully traded breakout strategies. Anytime that I've ever attempted to, like if I were to put it, like it always looks good in hindsight, but in my experience, I'd go to like put a long order in on a breakout and then it would so often fill me and then immediately go the other way. So I ended up like basically taking that experience and playing the reversal of it. So like instead of playing the breakouts, I wait for the breakout to start to fail and I play the mean reversion. If the breakout works, I just don't get a trade. But yeah, I've had very poor performance when I try to play that style. I'm not very good at it. Nice, you get your target. Hell yeah. Retest to that little pocket. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Good recovery day. The market closes up high like this. Pretty bullish for the market overall. These candles are all trying to hold higher lows. Really not wanting to give up. It's kind of very bullish, similar style spike, then like diagonally upward channel, and then same thing here, a spike, and now we're kind of looks like we're doing that diagonal upward channel again. Now that we've gotten above that 44 liquidity point and held so far, I mean, the next spots that I'm really interested in, there's going to be some hesitation maybe through this top of range, but really the key levels now are like, you're up at like 46.70. That's right. Yep. That's right. Good call. Good call. So we do have a nice inside candle close here. Does the market go breakout failure and we get a little bit of a pullback opportunity for a mean reversion trade? Or do we keep chugging? It certainly looks like it. The momentum is definitely to the upside. And the way that it's forming too, like after we get the spike, we get that upward diagonal channel twice now. It's super bullish. Super bullish. Getting our inside candle breakout failure so far. It's decent 2-bar play with follow through right away. No worries, man. No worries. Good trading today. Yeah, there you go. You were able to make your 4 points back, eh? Or I think. There's your 1230 close volatility. So it looks like we did get a failure of that inside breakout on the 5-minute chart, and we've got follow through now. We could get our larger pullback back to test some of these other previous areas. Yeah, for sure. Don't we all? Ah, yes. Yep. This was kind of this was a miss. I mean, it was for sure. I was kind of humming and hawing though because we've had so much bullish pressure. I knew the 5-minute chart was primed for either a breakout up or a failure, and then, you know, a mean reversion setup. So when the 1-minute chart did give me a nice clean, like literally as clean of a 2-bar setup as it could have given, especially when the reversal bar actually goes 1 tick past the previous bar, closes on its opposite extreme, was a great signal. We had the follow through. I could have limit ordered in on the retest, but my brain, just the bullishness in the market today kind of had me stuck, I guess. Every time it got close to giving me, like, I looked at so many, you know, 2-bar opportunities that didn't work, that it made me very hesitant for sure. So I think all in all, even though this one did work nicely, it's just kind of really going against the market flow right now. And the long opportunities today just didn't, they held like the swing points that they created. So if you were trading like limit orders just based off swing points, again, you know, could have done some nice trading, but this move happened very quickly. And then through here, I was like, you know, it looks like we're just going to keep going. And we did, but like trying to look for that proper entry. I never got enough candles in a row to really get a high one. And I never got a two-legged pullback to get into a high two. I would have had to have adjusted, and I'm not going to. I'm just, you know, I'm okay with not getting the signals. So it is what it is. It's okay. We did get one nice signal here, and I am glad that I pulled the pin or pulled the trigger properly. Just a little bit of mismanage. I had a little bit of hopium, I guess. When it gave that one tick poke the second time and gave up a little bit closer to a break-even entry, it was pretty close to break even. I mean, I should have cut the trade because the market had already told me that I was incorrect. That's why I have the 2-tick stop instead of the 1-tick under the swing, is so that in case it does another 1-tick poke, it can, you know, I can get back out at a cheaper price. The 1-tick poke idea already had happened, so if it happened a second time, not interested. Like, it's not really the same thing. So instead of holding and hoping, I needed to be quicker at I mean, I knew I was wrong. I just needed to accept that I was wrong and ditch the trade. But other than that, I mean, I'm glad I didn't FOMO into a bunch of stuff. So, I mean, there is that. I did sit patiently on my hands for only the setup that, you know, I really wanted and really should have taken. I will say that mentally, I was surprised a lot today. I was definitely not in the flow. I was not like really, I mean, I just in the flow. That's the best way to put it, I think. Some days I can tell, you know, I'm reading the market and it really is kind of going with what I'm reading. And then today it definitely proved me wrong a lot. So that did kind of trigger me to sit on my hands a little bit extra, which I think is good. That's kind of like my brain telling me, you know, you're not in the flow right now. So, because mentally, as I'm watching it move, I was definitely wrong consistently a lot. I was kind of always a bit off. So it's good that I understood that and didn't take trades that didn't really make sense. So that's kind of a win in itself for me. Got a 1-tick poke happening here. See if we get a good signal bar off it. That definitely did not close as a good signal bar, but if we get a good 2-bar off it, that gives us our 2-legged pullback with a 1-tick poke. Good pullback. 2 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 Not the greatest signal so far. Ooh, they really didn't want it to close bullish. Still held though. Some volatility through there for sure. Terrible signal bar, no follow through, no trigger. This one tick lower again. Looks better. There's definitely some congestion down here. It's a lot better of a signal bar now so far, for sure. Give a trigger. Yeah, there's a trigger. All right, came within my risk tolerance. I like it. See if we can get a little bit of continuation here. Good trigger bar. Good signal, good trigger. See if we get a little bit of follow through. We can break above a trigger bar, confidence grows. Need to regain 45. Okay. Retest of our entry. Now we see if we can regain 45.25. This pullback will allow me to move my stop if we regain 45.25. Otherwise, stop has to stay where it is. That's not the follow through we were looking for. Nope, definitely not the follow through we were looking for. All right. No, my entry was there. Okay. Both of the entries that I took for that same strategy, when they got stopped out, they gave like a nice flush, both times. Funny. Means my stop out's in the right location anyway. I wonder if I'll do the same thing, flush after my entry location and then liquidity snap back up. Either way, 1246 now. Not gonna take another trade. Take my L's and walk away. I like the pattern though. It gave me exactly what I wanted to see again. I think that's a good time to do my review. Oh no. The exhaustion, the inside, the one tick poke. Oh my gosh, this looks so juicy. If this form's perfect, I gotta take it right off the moving average. Oh, it looks so good. Oh, it's not looking as good anymore. Did it only go 2 ticks? It only went 2 ticks. If it closes really juicy, I'd have to take it, but doesn't close juicy. Not gonna stick around. No, that's not what I was looking for. Okay. Teased it though, that's for sure. So it's definitely through here, right? We had our nice open. We were uncertain about a direction at the open. We checked lower, we found some buys, and then it held. And we ended up making a high on the day. And no real long opportunities that I have you in suspense. Man, it was close. It was close to setting up how I wanted for sure. It was very close to setting up how I wanted. I love to see that exhaustion, the big final push candle, the tiny inside candle, they'll just check below and then go the other way. I mean, even though it did do that, price did do that, like, but it didn't quite form the way that I wanted to see. But that is like a juicy idea. Yeah, I'll see you Friday, man. Have a good day tomorrow. What a bugger. It was so close. It was so ready. Anyways, yeah, so we got our setup that we were looking for here. Price kind of went sideways and we were slowly channeling down. And we had turned quite bullish on the day. This was the second attempt down. And the 5-minute candle had just tried to make a go and then really couldn't. And we came down and we checked one tick under, got bought up. To be honest, it wasn't the greatest signal bar, but I really liked how the pattern was presenting and the location. And then we got the nice trigger. So I did get in. Like, it looked, it had a lot of the criteria that I was looking for. And the market was, you know, telling me to look for longs. Unfortunately, I didn't get any follow through, and the market came down and stopped me out. Now, I will say that I liked everything about it rather than the exit, because the market did come down one tick lower than my entry and did give a quick little buy up, and then it did come back down. Now, that buy up gave me an opportunity to get out at, I think, 2 ticks of a loss. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the like button. Cheers, dude. Having a good day. So I could have got out at a smaller loss, because I know that, like, the market told me that I was wrong, and it gave me an opportunity to get out after it told me that I was wrong. So I just didn't really listen to that, and so I ended up taking a full-size stop out, which is fine. But one thing that could have been done better. Stop out was clearly in the right location, because we got a nice flush after that. Market reacted very aggressively back up. Not really any opportunity through here for me that I really wanted. In fact, I was still looking for possible shorting opportunity, but it never really flowed the way that I wanted to see. So I didn't get involved in anything. Didn't really get involved in any longs, because unless I was trading it like a channel, there wasn't ever a good pullback for me to get in on. So the market kept chugging along to the upside, and we did achieve a pretty important level from here, from yesterday, that it was trying to climb past, and it successfully did so. And then after we did that, I knew that we were kind of in a nice liquidity area, so I was patient and kind of thought to myself that we could get a pullback from here now for sure. So watching, there was a nice 2-bar that came here, no follow through. Watching some of these 2-bars that happened on the way up, didn't really, you know, care for them all that much. So by the time that this one happened up here, in all honesty, I really wasn't on the same page anymore. We had gone so far, and I had been proven wrong in my head so many times, and it never really set up the way that I wanted, that I just really wasn't ready to take this one. And so I missed this one. Now, if I actually look at the difference between this one and some of the other ones, this one, we have a nice bear close. The 1 tick is on the top side, which is the 1 tick poke, closed on its low, and we have a nice trigger bar. Market did come up and give another entry, retesting it to get into this trade. Now, if I try to look at some of the other ones, like right here, this one's okay, has a good trigger bar. Did give, if you were to short underneath the signal bar, right, 32, 33, it did give like a nice profit. We could have got scalper's profit out of this one. Is there another 2-bar? There is a nice 2-bar here. It's not as nice. The wick's a little bit bigger. It's not as high. And it was, I didn't know about that location either. I wasn't as convinced. The trigger bar comes through, and then we never end up, this one did not work. Did we get any more? This one, again, not perfect. And also the trigger bar closes very poorly. Ends up going a little bit higher and turning around. Just really nasty looking through here. Same thing here. We get a signal bar, not good trigger bar. Not really a good one through there. And then this one never even gave a trigger bar. This one, you know, had a little bit more going for it. But like I said, at that point in time, my brain wasn't really looking for them anymore. And I guess really one thing to remember is the chart location, right? Chart location. The one thing that was different about up here is the chart had made a few pushes and finally got to that level that it was trying to achieve. During this second push up, really, there was nothing in there that I was interested in for a location for the short, because once we had regained that high, there was nothing else left until up there, you know? So trying to short through that location didn't really make sense. So that I think is pretty important, because if I would have, really been more patient and thought about that one aspect, and I wasn't emotionally drained by this point because of all the ones that I saw through here not working, maybe I would have been more apt to take this one, because this one, the location made way more sense than the location here. So we saw some sell pressure step in, but again, like, we were very bullish at this point. Market starts to pull back, and we got a nice attempt here, which struggled. We kind of were like chopping up a little bit, and then we get the one tick poke under. Doesn't give any kind of signal yet, and then it tries one more time, gives a beautiful, nice buy up signal candle. We get our trigger candle. We got involved, and then the market basically just straight down squeezed us out. So again, stop out location for the entry, great, because it did prevent a much larger loss in both situations. So that was done great. And the way that we got in the trade both times, I think, was also good. It was within proper risk and everything. Not bad. But they just didn't work. That's all. But not much other to be said. I take that trade, currently take that trade 10 out of 10 times. And then hilariously, we saw this last push bar, and we got our tiny little inside candle, and this guy right here went one tick down and started to try to close up, and my oh my, that looks like a nice reversal opportunity, but didn't quite close how I wanted to see. So there was no trade trigger here. It did give a little spike, but I mean, inevitably did come back down and sell off. So I think my idea of understanding that we had just broken into the liquidity pool and we had finally achieved where the market was trying to go, and then never continued, was the sign that I should be looking for shorts more so than longs. I was too late to the party. By the time that I was getting a long entry, the push was in the pullback phase, and the same thing happened here, right? By the time that I finally got that pullback entry that I wanted, we were like in a larger pullback phase. Same thing happening here, right? This whole move happened, and I didn't get a single long, and then I get a long during the pullback, which was, now a much larger pullback. But the location was okay at that point, for sure. But yeah, not the best day, not the worst day, just a day. At the same time, maybe with the Fed quarterly talk today, maybe I should just avoid these days. I'm not sure yet. Haven't traded through enough of them. And I don't know if that actually has any relevance, but something worth noting at least, so that I can potentially maybe see some sort of pattern. Maybe I don't perform well on these days, so they're better to just not. But who knows? For now, I don't know, so I'll continue to trade. Like, if my strategy presents, then I'll, take it. So yeah, 2 one-tick poke W opportunities. Neither worked. Couple 2-bar plays that would never have worked. This one really, I do like it a lot, but like I said, I was just not emotionally ready to take it anymore at that point. I was too focused on that the market had been so bullish now that maybe I was on the wrong side. And it's funny, like, if I zoom out and look, where was I trying to get long and where was I trying to get short? I was probably doing him, it was kind of, in the wrong locations. Or so it seems like right now, right? The short up here made sense. The pattern made sense for the long where I took it, but maybe the location was a bit off. because of the day style. Larger pullbacks today. Definitely some interesting sell pressure stepping back in. I was struggling to read this as 3 legs too, because like, yeah, we have swing to swing, swing to swing, swing to swing. There's 3 pushes, but this third push was the biggest push, which was making me not think that it was the third and was more apt to be one more, but it never happened that way. So I got mixed up a little bit. But all in all, not a bad day. You know, finishing red, but manageable for sure. Just a standard red day, nothing big. Just need to continue what we did today, right? Tomorrow. Just keep being patient and only take that setups that I really want. And yeah, been proving to be quite good lately. Consistency has been improving. We'll be back at her again, same time tomorrow, and see you guys then.